Think about this. There are women that are in their 50s that are trying to date, and they get themselves set up on different dating apps. And then they match with a guy, and the guy is not only handsome, but meets a lot of the requirements that she wants. They start to converse back and forth and sending jokes, sending text messages, and going back and forth. And they decide, hey, let's meet for dinner. Okay?
Okay. Sounds like a deal. Okay.
You know what I like? And the guy says, I like XYZ Fish Company. Okay? I'm just using that.
Sure.
So we're going to meet there. So the woman gets herself all ready, gets dressed, goes across town, gets to the restaurant, and starts to wait for the guy. 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late, sends him a text message, no response, goes on the dating app, and now she's been blocked from the guy.
Oh.
And waiting for this date. And she is humiliated and decides to eat by herself.
So she's gone to the restaurant. She's had this communication digitally, basically.
Yes.
She's really probably has never talked to this person on the phone or anything else.
Exactly.
It's all text. It's all, hey, latest and greatest technology. Let's just, meet.
This is disgusting.
Now, my question to you is, why would you sit down at a table at that point in time?
I would, see, personally, I wouldn't.
Okay. All right.
Because I would not do that.
Yeah.
But here's what happens. The woman goes home, she's so upset, and she looks online and starts researching the restaurant and finds out that this has happened to 6 other women at this restaurant. And what's been determined is that these restaurants are doing this now, guys, where they go out and they have people pose as suitors on these dating apps and act like they're single people answering all the questions and set up dates just to make the restaurant busy. And they're higher end restaurants. But is there a place in hell? Yes, it's for these guys. But I'm telling you, if this has happened more than once at the same restaurant, it's a total setup. And it's a criminal act is what's happened at this point. Now, here's the thing. I think that a lot of people are too paranoid. I think that dating is much easier than you think it is. Now, maybe it's just because it's me. And I had a date this last week. Okay.
You were starting to tell me.
Okay.
But explain, how did you first meet this person, though?
Friend said, I have a friend of mine that's interested in you, and she saw your picture. She thinks you're handsome, blah, blah, blah.
So evidently she's got a vision problem. But okay, we can move on from that.
So she can't see.
She can't see. But did you communicated with her, though?
Yes.
You actually spoke with...
No, via text first. Via text first.
All right.
And then and a few times. And then when I was in her hometown, I said, "Oh, I'm going to be in your hometown on this night. Let's have drinks or dinner, whatever is good for you." And then met.
Now, real quick, let me stop him here. He extended the invitation for drinks or dinner, not let's go to Cheesecake Factory, which is the number one place you can't go on a first date. Exactly. But hey, what's comfortable for you? So if you're getting that kind of communication, now you've got somebody that's at least paying attention to what you might be interested in, not just them.
So we met for drinks, and that was, talking for 2.5, 3 hours. Okay. So, and then, and then she lives out of the area. And then when I'm in your area, which will be next week, we'll get together. And then this week when she came to town, it was like, oh, hey, well, what city are you in? And I'm in South County. It's in Orange County, California. And I said, okay, well, how about the Irvine Spectrum? There's over a dozen restaurants there. Just pick something and we can meet there. And we met outside the Nordstroms, and that's how you do it, okay? I wasn't about to go sit in a restaurant. And then again, I could have cared less where she wanted to go. And wasn't a monetary thing. It's like Denny's and only get the Grand Slam.
So, but wait a minute though. I mean, there's a little difference here. In this scenario, we know Dan's a stand-up guy. He's not worried about paying for a meal if that's where she'd like to go.
I think every man should pay for these dates. I think that you need to, you need to open a door for a woman. You need to pay for the dates. You need to just insist on that. And again, what's going to make her more comfortable? Do that. That's what you should do.
But we've seen, okay, and let me be very clear. There's a point in time when opening a door for somebody or something of this nature, when she's absolutely saying, you know what, I'm good, I got it, except you need to understand that's a boundary of hers. Now, whether you feel like that's, she's not letting you be the man of the relationship or whatever, listen to it. If she says, I got the door, and you keep insisting that you have to get the door, that's a problem.
We've covered some of these kookaburras and stuff like that, these tapes and stuff. But again, be a gentleman. Be a gentleman. Right. And if you can't afford to date, don't date. But the point is that I wanted to get to know her better. She's great. She's really funny and pretty and everything that I like, and is a very stand-up person. But my point is that just again. Yeah, boundaries. Okay, Tom. Yeah, I sat in her lap too, but that probably was uncalled for.
And I think it was over the line when you called her mommy. Yeah, that was probably the deal breaker. But in this date that you had with this woman, I just want to be clear. You've indicated you were in her hometown, she was in your hometown, etc. She is single, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is not a situation where somebody's got a husband at home and they're trying. This has clearly been somebody who's divorced as well as another individual who's divorced. There's no games being played here.
Right. Didn't know what I did for a job too, which was fascinating. And
we still don't know what you do for a job, but that's standard practice anyways. My wife says the same thing. She just says, "Well, the check cleared, so I'm good."
So, but to get back to these women that meet these guys, I am, okay, you can get as paranoid as you want. And we were laughing about some of her friends with some of the paranoid stories, okay? Yes. And not to call them out, but they were just like, you wonder why your friends can't get a date when they do this stuff, because they just think that every man has an ulterior motive. And, one guy, a friend of hers, wanted to meet, hey, do you like this restaurant? I think it's good. She looks at the restaurant, and in the same parking lot's a hotel. She goes, what is he thinking? There's a hotel there. Is he thinking I'm going to go to the hotel with him? I'm like, are you crazy that you would think that? I don't even, is there and I know the restaurant. I'm like, oh, there's a hotel near that? Who cares about that?
But here again, there's somebody who shouldn't be dating to begin with.
Yes.
Because they are not okay.
Yeah.
They're not okay with themselves. They're not, and ladies, please understand me. If your gut says it's not right, get out. Don't go. I'm all in favor of listen to your gut. But to be that paranoid that you're looking at where he picked a restaurant, just pick a different restaurant.
Right.
Then. If that's
you'll know instantly if the guy's full of it. Plus, the other thing is, don't you get pictures of these people? Don't you know what this guy looks like? You've seen him on the apps. That's the other thing is you need to go to. Here's two things that I would recommend. Do a reverse image search on the guy, because I told this story where the woman that cuts my hair has a neighbor, and the neighbor's an older guy that's in his 70s that met somebody online and started to send her money, and she was going to come visit him. The day that she was due, he waited at Orange County Airport for 4 hours, and she got into a car accident on the way there. And by the way, now he sent her $800,000 to the imaginary woman. Then the $800,000 goes to $1 million. Now it's $1.5 million. Now he can't pay the property taxes. The kids have no inheritance, and all this for love. And I'm like, do a reverse image search on Elsa, and you're going to see that Elsa is 40 guy's girlfriend, and there's some dude in Bangladesh that's talking to him that's running this. Okay. So,
and again, it's typically all digital. There's going to be very little communication via phone or anything of that nature. And you're going to see these patterns play out over and over again. And just make yourself at least a smart dating individual to what Dan said.
Step it up.
Reverse imaging.
The next thing is tell them 99% of the restaurants out there that are decent, and I'm talking anything above Applebee's or above, has got either open table or the reservation system. Yep. And ask the person, because I do this with business all the time. Hey, I made us reservations on open table. Here's the reservation. Right. Okay. Well, if you have that and John Smith made the reservation, you're going to know that.
Yeah.
And again, if I was one of these women, I would file a police report first of all, because it's really cheesy, but it's such a low level petty crime that pulls at somebody's heartstrings, and a woman gets dressed up and does
and the
gets ready for
expectations, though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
forget about getting dressed up and everything else. It's just that expectation that I've met that right person. I've met somebody that I've connected with. When all you've connected with is somebody who wants to get you to sit down at a table and
Isn't that
embarrass you
sick?
into eating a meal there and paying for it.
How sick is that, guys? So this is awful. This is what's wrong with the world right now. And again, the videos that were sent to us, this is horrible. And we didn't want to show you guys this because it was just too much. And I'm thinking 1, 2 different places in the country, because guys, just be leery of this. And again, if you think it's odd,
And it is.
just change it. Change the situation up. Or date someone like Dan who's like, I don't care where we go, you pick the place.
Right.
Because then you're picking it. And then, if he doesn't show up, he's a scoundrel. He's just a degenerate. And
to that point, though, even if you are dating Dan and you pick the place, go sit at the bar.
Yeah, don't sit at the restaurant.
Don't say, yes, I got a table for 2 with Dan, because they're going to go, oh, sure you do. Please sit down.
Yeah.
And no, sit down at the bar. If he doesn't show, you had a drink, you get out of there, But no, this is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that terrible? It's one of the worst ones. But again, you're gonna see in 2024, you're gonna see some district attorney who's gonna get upset with this, who's gonna sit there and say, oh, you know what, XYZ Fish Company, you've done this 6 times now, and these women have stepped forward, and they're gonna file a class action lawsuit. You're gonna see that. You think, Cheesecake Factory just got nailed for not paying their janitors money. If people did this and Cheesecake Factory, and I just picked them just because Tom mentioned them, was in on it, they would have a serious, serious problem. But again, Lee, you can't be too careful, but you don't want to be paranoid, but you need to meet people, but you don't need to send them $1.5 million, to somebody out of the country. Be semi-smart. I always